All right, guys. Good evening to those of you who are in the West Coast, and good morning to Asia and where else? Australia, I believe. Welcome to another episode of Global Talk, episode 24. And my name is Jonathan. I'm your host. And the purpose of this show is to educate and entertain you, and also to scrutinize the journey of most of our successful business partners, and to make a point that starting this business is easy and you guys can also do it. Tonight, my goodness gracious, I'm very fortunate to have a special guest tonight. And you know what? No more intro. Let me bring her in, the great Coach Debra. Hello, Coach.
Hi, thank you so much, Jonathan, for inviting me.
Yes, and your doggies. I'll bring my own too, but it's okay. All right, how are you today?
I am awesome. And yourself?
I am great, and I'm like what I told you earlier. I am grateful to have you in this show.
Thank you so
All
much.
right. Um. Okay. Well, it's like let us begin. Okay, Coach. Okay. Well, tell us. I know your background, but tell our viewers, uh, who is Coach Deborah before becoming one of the success story of the business.
Okay, so first I'll introduce myself because most people out there don't know who I am. My name is Deborah, and first and foremost, I'm a child of God. I'm a
Mhm.
mother of six, a grandmother of 19, and soon to be a great grandmother of number nine, and
Oh
a
yes,
successful online business owner. And
yeah.
before coming to this business, I was like everybody else, I was broke. I had my position of very many years was eliminated, and I was left without work. And I was
Mm,
60 years old at the time. And I started looking for work because I was so confident I was going to get a job because I was good at what I did. I loved what I did. And, I had the many, many years experience. But I soon had to come to the realization that nobody wanted to hire anybody over the age of 60. So I wasn't ready to retire because a lot of people retire and then they die. And I wasn't going to let that happen. I
right.
to do something that I could stay active forever because I'm not a person that can sit and do nothing. So
Yes.
I needed to find something, but I needed to have income to be
Hmm.
able to pay my bills because I didn't have, when you get laid off, um, you don't, the retirement plan isn't enough to, to
Exactly.
survive on. And I wasn't willing to give up my lifestyle and the things I do, at that point in my life. So I had to get out of my comfort zone and I had to find something different. So,
Excellent.
we all start at the same level, broke and looking for another way of.
Oh my gosh, that's a mouthful there,
Yeah,
Coach. Because for me, for the just to tell your audience, I know we're streaming both at the same time, and I'm a registered nurse here in Las Vegas, Nevada.
mhm,
And even though they say, "Oh, you have a great career," it's not because, like
no,
what we found out during the last global crisis, even though you have a stable job, it's not really stable.
that's right.
So our department closed for about 14 weeks without pay. So
Yeah.
that's how I started venturing into the digital space.
And you
Right.
know what? There's no job security anymore. I had been at my
No.
many, many years, and they couldn't just lay us off. They laid 1,200 of us off on the
Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
corporation, huge corporation, but they laid us top earners off. Like, we were paid top dollar to work in the
Right.
oil sands in Canada. And um, it was a smart move on the company's part, but it hurt us, and it cut our pensions way down. So,
Oh my goodness.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that's horrible. It's horrible. And we
but
don't want to go through that again.
no, never.
All right. Moving on. What was that initial spark that led you to the conception of your digital business, and what motivated you to embark on this journey?
Well, I had a lot of struggles when I started this business
Mhm,
because, I'm an accountant by trade and I used to work
mhm.
on a computer 12 to 14 hours a day, but I did income tax programs, accounting
Oh,
programs.
okay.
database programs, anything to do with business. But when it came to social media, I didn't have a clue. I had a Facebook page when I started, but my kids made it for me because I was adamant I didn't want anything to do with social media because I was one of these people that kept the duct tape over the little camera on my computer because I thought people could see me. And my daughter kept,
Right.
Mom, people can't see you unless you have your camera on. And I said, well, I'm just making sure, I was like, old school, very old school. So, when I started this business, they said, Facebook, we're going to, social media is the way to go. And they're saying Facebook, Instagram, like Twitter. And I'm saying, Twitter, what kind of a name is Twitter? Like TikTok, what is that? So I'm saying, oh my gosh, I didn't even, and then they tell me that I had to put my picture on Facebook. Like I didn't even know how to do that. Right.
Right. Right.
So I had a 12-year-old grandson. Thank God for grandchildren because he had patience with me. My kids want to do it and get it over with, right? But
Exactly. Yeah.
grandson, he said, "I'll help you, Grandma," and he showed me how to put a picture on Facebook and how to Google and all kinds of these good things. Thank God he did, right? Because I knew when I saw this business that
Hmm.
it would work. I could see the numbers and I knew it wasn't a get rich quick scheme. I knew it
Exactly.
was something that I was going to have to work on and build up
Hmm.
and invest my time into it and
Hmm.
to get it to where it needed to be. But I was willing to do that because I could see a future in this business. And there's so many things out there that aren't good that
Hmm.
I had looked at. I seen them and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe people even would think of doing these things. But anyways, I'm not a salesman. I cannot sell. Like I don't sell. If someone said to me, I don't have the money, that's oh, I understand. I've
Yeah.
been had 6 kids. I know what it's like to struggle, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm not a salesperson. So, and then when they said, well, you don't sell, we are affiliate marketing and we do everything online. You don't have to bug family and friends. And I,
Hmm.
wow, I know it will work. It'll work
Oh
for me.
yeah.
I can do this, right? So, anyways, yeah. So it I had so much motivation because I wanted to pay my bills. I
Of
wanted
course.
something that I wanted to be able to have a good life at my age. It was when I'm 67 years old now. And, I started when I was 60 and I wanted a life that I could enjoy. Like I said to somebody one day, I love sitting in a rocking chair, but I didn't want to sit in a rocking chair and die. I wanted to sit in a rocking chair and learn how to live again. So,
Exactly.
and that's what motivated me to do this business.
I love that. I love that. Like what you're saying, Coach. There were a lot of like the time that I actually started looking as well.
Mhm.
There were a lot of get rich.
Oh,
You know, my gosh, it's like they promise you the stars and the moon in 30 days. They promise you this and that, and
doesn't happen.
I saved it. Don't get me wrong, because it's too good, right? I saved it, but I did my research. I did my due diligence, and I said, okay, cross, 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 cross.
Yeah,
But the time that I found my mentor's video, it's like, oh wow, I saved it, but I researched more, and then
yes,
the following day I jumped in wholeheartedly.
yeah.
So it's amazing. All right, guys. We have a lot of watchers tonight. Brenda, Annalyn from Australia, Maris,
Um,
and Arlene from Canada. Hello, guys. Thank you for tuning in. All right. Continue on, Coach. Could you share some early struggles you faced while building your digital business? Like you already said, the Facebook.
yeah,
And for me, coming from the medical field, like what you mentioned earlier, I only use Facebook and other social media for checking up your families, checking out sports. But other than that, I didn't know the rest of it. So, could you tell me your side?
well, I didn't know any of it. Like I say, my kids built the Facebook page. They said, Mom, you're living in Alberta, Canada. You have grandchildren and family in on the east coast of Canada, you need to keep in contact with them. You need to be able to see their pictures and things. And I said, well, I'd rather get on a phone call, and
Right.
that's all I ever used my phone for, was making phone calls. I wasn't even a texter. I'm still a one finger typer when it comes to text. You see everybody going with the thumbs going. I'm
Like,
like, oh my
like all
God, I still can't, right? So, anyways, they said, this is a portable business. You can take it
Mhm.
anywhere you go. You don't have to be sitting in your house in front of your computer. You can be sitting out on the beach. You can be visiting. And as long as you have your phone, you can do this business. So
Mhm.
they said, you got to put it on your phone. And I said, my phone? I do good to make phone calls on my phone. How am I going to do this on my phone? So, you get it on your phone. I got it finally on my phone, and I get it, I get my training on the phone, and I get my admin system on the phone, and I get my
Yes.
book on the phone, and
Yes.
everything I need to, all the tools, I get it on my phone. So, I'm looking at our training, and our training site is above and beyond anything that I've ever seen in my
My
life.
gosh.
I
Yes.
teach part-time at the community college. So I've seen a lot of training programs, and this is above and beyond anything I've ever seen. So, anyways, Darren said, get it on your phone, get it on your phone. So on your computer, you open your training up and you click here and it opens up over here. So I'm on my phone one day and I had it on there and I'm so proud of myself. I got my training on the phone and I'm clicking it and I'm clicking it and I'm clicking. Nothing's happening. So I'm thinking, what's wrong? So I did that. Talk about doing something the same thing and expecting different results. I did it for 2 days before I got up the nerve to contact them. Finally, I contacted them and I said, did you guys kick me out because I'm too old and too slow? And he said, Deborah, what are you talking about? And I said, well, I'm trying to get into my training and it's open, but it's not doing anything. I'm clicking and clicking, and it's not opening. And he said, are you on your computer or your phone? And I said, you told me I had to have it on my phone. I'm on my phone. He said, Deborah, take your index finger, take it to the bottom of your screen on your computer and just lightly push up. Don't push hard. Just, I said, nobody told me I could do that. So, and like, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, when it comes to doing this, I said to people, don't assume people have common sense when it comes to doing these things. I'm old school. I learned how to type on the old Underwood typewriters that you had to have
Or
muscles.
the word processor. Remember those?
No computers back then. So, there was a lot of things. So, yeah, I had a lot of struggles, but it was my own struggles. And then my grandson said, Grandma, you need to learn how to Google. All you have to do is say, how do I put a picture on Facebook using my MacBook Pro? You got to tell them what kind of computer system you use.
Yeah.
Question mark. So I did that, and I'm thinking, I took notes that day, and I'm looking at my notes the next day, and I'm saying, what does that mean? Oh my gosh, I don't even know what I wrote down. And then I'm doing this Google thing, and my answer's not coming up. Like, I'm getting, makeup, and I'm getting jewelry, and
Hmm.
I'm getting cars, and I'm getting like houses. I'm getting everything except for what I'm
For
talking.
what you need. Yeah.
I had to wait for my grandson to get out of school the next, that afternoon. So I waited. I knew he was
Right.
home. So I called and I said, Tacey, honey, this just isn't working for grandma. And he said, well, what are you doing? And I told him. And I said, I'm doing the exact same thing you told me to do. And I put the question mark in, but I'm not getting it. He said, well, what are you seeing? And I told him, he said, Grandma, go down to the bottom right hand corner.
Scroll.
And it will say skip ad. I said, well, you didn't tell me that. And there's your answer. So I said, oh my goodness. So I, learned the hard way. But believe me, and I tell my people today, if you ask me a question and I giggle, the only reason I'm giggling is because I know the answer because I asked the exact same question.
Exactly.
So don't be afraid ever to ask the question, right?
Of course. You mentioned about our training.
Yeah,
Everything is on. You can access that in our phone. That's a good thing about our business.
yeah,
Well, me, when I have a break at my full time,
yeah,
I check my training. I check
yes,
all my business things that are involved in my phone. That's how portable, or yeah, that's how portable we are. You can work this
exactly.
business everywhere.
Yes.
All right, coach. I'm having fun, so that's why I'm laughing all the time.
I could talk about this business all day.
Oh my gosh. All right. Speaking of skills, I know there's a lot. What do you think is the most important one to have to
The
run this
most
business?
important skill to have is you know how to read and you know how to turn on a video. That's all the skills you need for this business, right? Like I'm an accountant and I have my, my bachelor of education and I have my accounting degree. And that doesn't do a heck of anything when it comes to doing this business. We all start at the same level.
Hmm.
And, it doesn't matter if you've never gone to school. If you can
Doesn't
read,
matter.
turn
Hmm.
on a video, you can follow the process because everything is video based and it walks
Hmm.
you through it step by step. It shows you the pictures and what you have to do. So if you can read and turn on a video, that's the most important
That's
skill.
it.
But the most important thing is the desire and the want.
Oh yeah.
Need
Amen.
to
Yeah.
want to make a change in your life. And you
Hmm.
have to be persistent and consistent with that change,
I believe that because
right?
if you just show up in the business one day and then you don't show up the next day and then you show up 2 days later, it's not gonna work. You have
No.
to be.
Like I say to people, I'm a very firm believer. If you work 1 hour a day, you get paid for 1 hour a day. If you
Hmm.
work 40, or 8 hours a day, you're going to get paid for 8 hours a day. So what is it that you want out of your business? Do you want it to be a hobby? It's going to take you years. Hobby people don't make money. You take people that knit sweaters and mitts and things, they don't get
Nicely
paid for
said.
all their hours of work. They barely get paid for the materials they use. That's a
Exactly.
hobby, right?
Nicely put, coach.
That
Oh, I love that. I might have to borrow that statement.
you can borrow anything, right?
I love it. Well, for me, before we move on, I believe that the, the the most important in our business, the most important skill is you need to be able to communicate.
Yeah, communication
I
skills.
mean, how can you relay your message to the receiver if you can't even find out what you want to say?
Exactly. Communication, and you need to be coachable.
Oh yes, you need to be
Very
good.
coachable.
Don't you just love those people who says, "Oh, I know, I know. Oh, I know, I know." No, you
Yes.
don't. You don't.
No, we don't. Like, no. Please tell me step by step. Like, if I'm and be able to accept, criticism,
Oh
constructive
yeah.
criticism, because we need that. If
Yes.
I'm doing something wrong, I want someone to say, no, no, maybe you shouldn't do it that way. Maybe you should do it this way, or we don't do it that way. That way doesn't
Mhm.
work. I love it when someone says that to me and I'll say, oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
Because that way I'm not going to keep continuing making the same
Making the
mistake,
same mistakes. Yep.
right?
Exactly. I love that. All right. Okay. This one of my two favorite questions that I always ask. How would you describe the ultimate measure of success in your business?
Mix the ultimate measure of success is what you do. So the ultimate measure of success for me is I measure my success by how many people I can help in a day, right?
Love that. I
I don't
love that.
measure my success by how much money I personally earn. I measure my
Mhm.
success by how many other people I can help. That's success to me.
Very nicely said. I love that because sometimes, yeah, monetary gain is good. It will help a lot of people, but also the connection that you make with
Yes,
different people globally. That's the best part about our
I love
business.
it. Yes.
You're open. You're open to everybody. Right now, I'm in Vegas and coach is in Mexico.
Yeah, that's awesome, right?
Right. See, that's special. All right. Just want to say hi to Hanilet and also to Coach Erife. Thank you, Coach, for dropping by. All right. To continue on, this is my other favorite one. Could you explain the concept of a servant leader within this community?
A servant leader is one who's available, one that can answer your questions, one that can guide you in the right direction, but one that is there and available to answer
All
those
the time.
questions all the time.
Exactly. All the time. Might not be within minutes, but
Right.
you will get your answer. I love that. Simple, simple but effective. All right. Can you share some memorable moments or milestones that you already achieved in the business as a business owner, but you've been doing this for so long? I know you rack you have stacked of achievements already, but what could you please name a few?
The one that's the most memorable for me, I know we have different levels that you achieve,
Mm-hmm.
and each level was a very memorable moment for me because I, I look at the big picture, but I like to go in increments. I like to, this is my first goal, and when I reach that, then you go for the next one, and so on. But my most memorable one is I was I was with my family in Canada, and my son had come home from Bermuda, and we're outdoors people. So
Mm-hmm.
he came home to go hunting, and he said, "Mom, come and stay with me, like out in the bush in the camper and stuff." And I said, "I'll go if you can get me cell service. Like if I'm in an area that I can get cell service, I can do my business." So that month of September, I went out, September of 2018. I went out into the bush with my son, and I'm working in a camper with one
Mm-hmm.
car on my cell phone, and I'm using it for internet for my
Right.
computer, and I'm doing my coaching calls and, working my business from back in the bush, like 200 kilometers back in the bush. And that month, I made my first over high five-figure income.
Yay.
And I'm sitting there, and my daughter, of course, brought my checks to me, and I'm going through and I'm adding them up on on the calculator. I'm adding them up, and I'm doing it. And finally, she said, "Mom, what are you doing?" And I said, "I'm adding this up." And she said, "Mom, you're an accountant. Guaranteed, the first time you added it up, it
It's
was
correct.
correct. You don't need to do it 50 times." But that was something that I earned that one month more money than I ever made in a year living back east.
Wow. Amazing.
And like if that was the most memorable milestone. And that was like, I started in February 2017, and this was in September of 2018. In October of 2018, I moved to Mexico.
So let me, I don't know if you don't have to answer this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. You're free to answer it. Why Mexico?
You know what? I've traveled, on vacation, years
Hmm.
for years. And, I had been to the different places. Never been to the Philippines, though. That's on my bucket list.
Oh,
Never
goodness
been there,
gracious.
I know, and I have friends there and business
Oh,
partners
yeah.
now, and I
Oh, my
really, it's on
goodness.
my bucket list to go. But I fell in love with the Mexican people, the
There you
children,
go.
and the culture and the way they live. People in Mexico, their housing isn't their priority. And like in Canada, you got to keep up with the Joneses. You want this good house and this good house. You have to have the bigger and better house and the best
Better
of everything.
cars.
And
Yeah.
I'm yeah. Here they all have nice cars. They have a lot of them have new cars and live in a one bedroom, place with a dirt floor. But they have the cleanest clothing. They're the cleanest people, and they have brand new vehicles. But they said, like, all as we do is sleep there, right? Because they cook outdoors, and they sleep there. So, and I'm thinking, we have our priorities wrong. Like,
Oh, yeah.
our
I totally
priorities,
agree with you
they're
on that.
wrong,
Yes.
and they take care of each other. Here in Mexico, when the older people can't work anymore, the children have to look after them. There's no pension plan in Mexico for the elderly. So it's not a question, you just do it, right? And
Hmm.
the grandparents look after the babies, and the parents work, and and they all help and each other, and they work together. I don't know, I just fell in love with the culture. I love the weather, of course,
Of
but,
course.
I just fell in love with Mexico, and it's something I always wanted to do was live here.
It's the same. I correct me, whoever's watching this or watching the replay. Correct me if I'm saying it wrong, but both the Mexican and the Filipino cultures, they're pretty much the same.
Similar, very similar,
Similar. Yeah.
very similar. I'm not
So
sure. I'm not sure if the Mexican people that move out of the countries take care of their parents when they're gone, but I do not know any Filipino people that have moved from Philippines to another country that do not take care of their families back in the Philippines. Like that
yeah,
melts my heart, right?
yeah.
I love
So
that.
you are right about the Canadian or the American culture where our priority is not right.
Like
It's not.
someone said to me, well, you're getting elderly. What's going to happen if you need somebody to take care of you? You're going to be in Mexico. And I said, well, you know what? When it gets to the point that I need to be taken care of, I'm not going to be a burden to my children because I'm going to have enough money coming in that I can pay
Yes,
for a home to go live in, right? And
exactly.
someone take care of me. I don't want to be a burden to my children. But you guys, like from the Philippines, you don't feel that your parents is a burden. But that's how we're raised in our culture, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You don't see that happening in Canada or the US.
Yeah, yeah, it's hard. Yeah. All right. You already mentioned about one of your memorable milestones, but
Yeah.
could you share a heartfelt story other than that you said from any of your experience running your digital business that left a lasting impact on you?
Oh man.
I know
I,
there are a lot.
oh, there's so many. And I hear stories of people before they start this business. And actually, this is one of them that was when I first started the business. She was telling her story, and she had to leave the Philippines and
Mm,
go to Canada and leave her family, her children,
mm,
and her husband, and come to Canada and look after other people's children to
mm.
make the money to send back home for her family. And the people she worked for took her phone away from her. She
Wow.
couldn't use her cell phone only on her days off. And I'm thinking, my
Wow.
heart is breaking for her. We have no idea what it's like to struggle. Now, today, they're very successful in the business. Her husband and children are in Canada. They're doing this business full time and they're very successful. And then I see young families that come in and they're doing it right. They're married, they start the business, they become successful, they get a home, and then they start their family. Like they're doing it right, the way that everybody wants to run their life, but nobody seems to do it that way anymore,
Not anymore.
Not anymore. But when
No,
I see that, that just melts my heart. And I see moms and dads being with their children, going to games. We have families that they travel the world with their children. Their children are getting the best education there are because they're learning about all the different countries and the cultures and everything firsthand by living there.
exactly.
It's amazing. So this business has changed so many lives.
So,
And when you see it, like, I want to tell you this story. I know I talk a lot about the business, but I want
oh
to
no, please, yeah. Talk away,
when
coach.
I had children, you had a baby on a Friday and you went back to work on Monday. There was no maternity leaves. And I worked all the time. 6 children, it took 2 incomes coming in, and I worked all the time. Being an accountant, and I traveled because I would go to different islands, in the East Coast, and you'd stay overnight because you get the ferry early in the morning. But when you're doing books for people, you don't have time to get back. So, I was away a lot. And one Christmas, after all my children became adults and started having children of their own, I bought them books.
Hmm.
And these books were about their childhood, the good, the bad, the ugly,
Hmm.
what they liked, what they disliked about their parents, their siblings, their friends, where they lived, their whole life about growing up. And I gave it to them and I said, don't give it back quickly because I want you to really put a lot of thought into this. Don't worry about hurting feelings because I want you to, if I made a mistake as a parent, I want you to put that in there so that you can change that or break, certain things, with your families growing up. So, anyways,
Wow.
my
Very
youngest
nice.
daughter gave it back in about a little over 3 months. And I'm thinking, this can't be good. She's the only one I butted heads with as teenagers. And I'm thinking, oh no, this can't be good. Now I'm going to find out what kind of a bad parent I was. So, anyways, I read it. And, there was a lot of tears of happiness, a lot of tears of sadness. There was laughing. But, the last page in the book was, and I get really emotional still today when I think about this. The last page of the book said, if you could change anything in your childhood, what would it be that you would have changed?
Mm.
And she said, I wished my mother had been home more.
Oh,
I
I
worked.
got
I will
goose.
never get that back as long as I live. So your parents, these parents out there that have children, I don't care if they're teenagers or what they are. If you have the opportunity to do something to change your life and be with your family, do it. Don't wait till tomorrow, or don't wait until you're my age and have a child say that to you, because I will never get those days back in my entire life. They're gone,
Wow, that's heavy.
right? That is heavy. And I get emotional every time I mention it because I've lost that,
Yeah.
right?
Someone,
We've got the vehicle for people
we
right
do.
now to jump into this and not ever lose that, right?
Yes, yes. I saw this post earlier on Facebook, and then it's something about I don't remember it verbatimly, but something about your boss, all the people that you work for, they won't remember you, but
No,
the one
they have no idea
no,
who you are.
but the one person that will remember you that you worked so hard and the time that you didn't spend with them are your kids.
That's right. That's right.
It's
They
like,
will
and
never,
then you mentioned that, like,
right?
wow.
Yeah. So, and we have such a vehicle for these people to never have to live that. And I want the young people that's watching, and I say young.
Yes.
Anybody, 50 is young to me. So anybody 50 and younger, like, think about that. Don't let that ever happen to you. That's got to be the worst feeling ever, because it's something that I could have changed, if I had
Very
realized
young.
that at the time. But when you're trying to provide for your family, you don't think of those things. But
Hmm.
when you get it told to you when you're older and they're adults, it makes a huge difference. So please, if you're young, this is a vehicle that will take you far beyond where you ever
Places.
dream of.
Places. Oh my gosh.
You just need to be
You're,
patient.
you're hitting all the points tonight, Coach. I'm loving it so much. All right. Okay. I know, like what I mentioned earlier, you've done many, many things. You've accomplished many, many things in our business. But where do you still envision yourself in the business in the next 3 to 5 years?
You know what? I pray that this business is going to give me enough that I can, put away to have my children supported when I'm
Mm,
gone. But I plan on living to be 120, healthy and
there
driving
you,
my car and still doing the business. I really plan on that. So, but I want to see how many people I can help become successful in the next 3 to 5 years. Like, every year I want to help the number of, like, 365 days of the year. I'd like to help 365 people.
mm,
I can add more to it, I will, right? So each year
exactly.
I want to help that many people per year. So it doesn't matter if I'm financially tied. I just want to see people be successful, right?
That's the ultimate one of our ultimate measure of a success is to
Yeah.
see all the people that we touch, all the lives of many different people that we encounter, and then they
Yes.
become successful.
And I
It's
want to travel in the next 3 to 5 years. I want to go to Australia. I want to go to Japan in June. I want to go to Australia.
Philippines.
I want to go to the Philippines, the number one I want to go to. And then I want to go to the UK, and I want to go to all these places and visit and meet people. I have met in Calgary this summer. I met
Mhm.
so many people from all over the world.
I was there.
Yes. And it was so awesome. So many people I got to meet and have my
Oh my
picture
gosh.
taken with, and it was just so awesome.
I was looking for you. I couldn't find you. It's
Oh
like,
my gosh,
no,
I
actually, I take it back. We found you in the one of the hotel lobby. Yeah,
yes,
yes,
and
yes.
the
I
Hilton,
remember that now.
yes, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
excellent. All right, Coach. For our final. Oh, okay. Before we go to our final question, you mentioned about many different countries, but other than Mexico, where else do you want to go?
I want to go to the Philippines. I want to go to Australia. I want to go to the UK. I want to go to Dubai. I want to go
Oh,
to.
Dubai is nice.
I want to go to where all my
But
business from.
what is the number one place?
Philippines.
Which Philippines?
Philippines, because before I moved to Mexico, I have a really good friend in
Mm-hmm.
Canada that just built a new home in the Philippines. They
Oh,
lived in
very
Port
nice.
Missouri and they built a new home. And she said, "Come on, you got to come and spend some time with me in my new home." And I said, "I will. I truly will." So,
Go for a
I never
vacation.
ever, yeah, I have to go. But I have
Yeah.
so much more to do now than just go visit her. There's so many people I want to go see. There's so many areas I want to go see, because when I go to a country, I just don't want to go to the tourist areas. I want to see
Right. The
the real
real.
country, the
Yes.
real country,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Oh man, we could talk forever.
Yeah, like here in Mexico, I don't live in the tourist area. I live amongst the locals,
Right. Very
right?
nice. Very
That's where
nice.
I like it.
All right, Coach. Just to for our final question, any message you want to give to those who keeps going back and forth? I know you have a lot of this too,
Yeah.
about starting their own online business.
Stop procrastinating and get off the fence. Sitting on a fence, you're not going anywhere because you're sitting. You're never going to move any further if you stay sitting on the fence. You're just going to get splinters in your butt. And I say this to people all the time, because you can't get ahead without moving. You can't go to the other side of the room without moving. So you're never going to change your life. You're never going to make a difference in your life. And you have to learn to live by faith, not fear. So many people, and when I say faith, I mean, I believe in God. I give all the glory to God for me being in this business, but I believe God brought me to this business, but I had to learn how to live by faith, not fear. And I mean, not just faith in God. I had to learn how to believe in myself. I had to learn that I could do this. I had to have faith that I could put my picture on Facebook, that I could talk on the computer. I had to have faith that I could learn this. And I had to get rid of fear, because, I was afraid of doing everything. I was afraid of putting my picture on Facebook. I was afraid of making a mistake. I was afraid that, being kicked out because I was too slow or I wasn't getting it quick enough. There's no time limit on this. Every bit of success or failure depends, if my success or failure depends on me, nobody else.
Nobody
It's
else.
nobody else's. It's not the company's fault. It's not my mentors or my coaches or anybody else. If I succeed, it's me. And if I fail, it's me. So just do it. Stop being afraid of something different. Get out of your comfort zone. Nobody will ever be successful if they don't get out of their comfort zone.
That's
You
my
take
favorite. Yeah.
Look at all these successful people. Look at how many times uh, the Colonel, Kentucky Fried Chicken, went around trying to say he was going to sell chicken. And what they tell him? Nobody's going to buy chicken
No.
from you.
Hmm.
He went years and he kept going and going and going. People need to watch those stories about, the founder of McDonald's, the founder of all these fast food restaurants that will never work, right? And look today, they're the biggest companies in the world.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories like that. People are
Yes.
too afraid, but those people who actually break the barrier and just does
Just
it.
do it. Just
Yeah,
don't
just
wait
do
for
it and you will
tomorrow.
see, right?
And the thing of it is, we're not guaranteed tomorrow.
No.
We don't know when we go to bed tonight if we're going to wake up in the morning. So why would we? take a chance on not trying to do something to make a difference
Mhm.
in our lives. You can't, things aren't going to change if you don't do it. And you can't come into the business and sit back and say, oh, I got a magic wand, it's going to happen. No, you got to learn the business. It's not hard. Like, it's not
Yes.
hard. Someone said to me, well, why aren't you retired? And I said, well, this is the closest thing to retirement I ever want, because I get up every morning and I know that I'm going to be talking to somebody different in a different country today. I'm meeting people from all over the world. People come here to Mexico and I go visit them. Like, I'm going to go this weekend to go visit people that's here. I'm going to have people come, next week that's business partners. I've never met them before, and I'm going to meet them here. I've met hundreds of people that came on vacation, and I make sure that I make it a point to go visit them. If somebody comes to Playa del Carmen, Mexico, I make it a point to set up a time to go meet them.
You're becoming an ambassador.
I love meeting people. I love meeting new people in the business, right?
Oh
I,
gosh. All right, coach. Other than what you already said, any other final word you want to say to our people?
when you start this business, you're assigned a mentor and a coach. You're going to
Yes,
be in business for yourself, but never by yourself. You always have somebody to guide you in the right direction. They're not going to do it for you, but they will guide you in the right direction. And if you're coachable and want change in your life, this is the vehicle to get it. You might as well
excellent.
jump the bus and come along as to sit and watch the bus go by, because this bus is on the road to success, and there's no
Yes,
sense of not being on it and sitting on the sideline watching. You might as well be on it as well. There's room
and
for millions, right?
it's already close to 2024, so might as well. I know you promised yourself back in 2022 that you would make a change, but you
Yeah,
did not. So let's reset, and you have 2 months to do so.
exactly. And don't wait for January to make a New Year's resolution. Make a change in your life today. Don't wait for
Exactly.
tomorrow. Yeah.
All right, coach. Thank you again
Thank
for
you, Kevin.
spending 40. It was fun. This is one of the best interviews that I ever had. I already had
You.
24, but it was awesome. It was
Thank you
awesome.
so much. God bless you.
All right. Before we end this show, I would like to leave you a quote that I believe it was Joel Austin who said that your success is already assigned to you. So just
Yes,
wait. Just
that's
wait.
true.
It
And
will
it was
come.
Joel Osteen that said that. We're already told before we were born that we are to prosper,
Yes, yes, yes.
right?
I love
We are
that.
to prosper. That's right.
All right, guys. Thank you for those of you who actually tuned in and stayed all this time. Thank you, guys, for your
Thank
support.
you.
And for those of you who will be watching the replay, I hope we entertain and educate you at the same time. All
Yes.
right, guys. Thanks, Coach. And okay, signing off.